It's called the justice system, but we have a lot of nerve calling it justice. Innocent people don't end up in prison. That's a lie. If you didn't do it, you'll be fine. That's a lie. But what happens when the system gets it wrong, which is a lot actually, and then they refuse to admit it. And today I'm speaking with the co-founder of Voiceless Behind Bars. It's an organization fighting to free the wrongfully convicted. So, welcome to From Dirt We Grow. I'm happy everybody you're here with me today, and we're here with Miss Sarah DiArmond from Voiceless Behind Bars. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. And this is so true. Uh, I was taught growing up, everyone has the right to a fair trial. The justice system works. And it's not true at all. And I can't tell you how angry I was when I found out. And that's not the origins of when it comes to my advocating, but voiceless behind bars because once you're there in prison, society does not care whether or not you're innocent. You have been silenced.
Very true. Very true. It's horrible how we're treated. So, you said you were angry when you found out. What brought this to your attention?
2020 was when I started speaking out when it comes to Black Lives Matter, police brutality, and it was George Floyd that really got to me. And so I started to speak out a lot more. And yes, I should have absolutely spoken out sooner, but I'm here to stay. And so I started speaking out more. And it was that fall when a friend of mine tagged me in a video about wrongfully convicted man, completely innocent, on death row named Purvis Payne. Thankfully, he's still with us, but his execution date was coming up. When it came to that video I saw, I was immediately furious. And after making some videos about him, I started doing research. Immediately found out about Brandon Bernard, Dustin Higgs, and Billy Allen. Billy Allen, thankfully, is still with us today. Because that's when I began learning about how common it is. And that's when I started getting furious.
Realistically, like how many are we talking about?
I know it's at least two people a day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Through the Equal Justice Initiative. Yeah,
That is literally sickening.
it is. When I found that out, like you, I was furious. And, people, talk about my tax dollars, my tax dollars. Well, our tax dollars are being wasted on people who didn't do the crime while the real killers are still out there.
My gosh, I'm kind of shocked right now. Almost lost my train of thought here.
No, I understand that when I first found out those numbers, I also had the same reaction.
Yeah, that's insane. I had no idea it was that bad. Now, I'm sure certain communities are more vulnerable than others, yes.
Oh, very much so. When it comes to Black community, they purposefully target them in the 13th Amendment. There's that loophole where slavery is still legalized in the prison system. So slavery never ended, it was redesigned. And so not only do they target specifically Black people, they target people with mental illnesses, people who are disabled. They hate people who are poor, hate them. So they absolutely target certain communities, absolutely.
Now, from that angle, who benefits just from getting a conviction, period? It doesn't matter who it is, just get the
Oh, the
conviction.
politicians absolutely benefit. They get rich. Corporations also get very rich. Corporations such as McDonald's will hire a lot of these inmates, like here in Alabama, will hire them and they work free slave labor. Let's be honest. And they have to do it, or else they get punished. When I say punished, I'm saying beaten. Um,
Mm.
and they were like Joanne's Fabrics when they were in business. They would hire inmates to make fabric for them, pay them pennies per hour. But once they got out of prison, the store wouldn't hire them. They were fine to take
Mm.
advantage of them in prison, use them for slave labor. So politicians and the corporations absolutely get rich off of this because, like, our tax dollars go to pay for each inmate to be housed each day, and we pay even more on our tax dollars for death row inmates. And this also goes for federal prison, our federal tax dollars, federal death row. Yeah, right. Our federal tax dollars goes to that too.
Yeah, I mean, they don't make money off of educating folks. They make money off of, imprisoning folks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so you brought up Joanne Fabrics, and now that I'm thinking about it, we used to have one kind of in the area, and it hasn't been around a while. Are they completely out of business everywhere?
They're completely out of business. They're gone.
Wow, I didn't know that either. How often do police misconduct or withheld evidence play a role in these?
Woo. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you personally how often I can tell you it's very, very common. Very common. I see like not through my own research, but places I advocated for, currently advocating for, I see where the police played a direct role where along with the prosecutor, where they deliberately build a case around someone they know didn't do it because that's easier for them than to go and find the person who did it. And they will when there's evidence showing that they didn't do it, they'll remove that. And the judge knows about it. I've read the transcripts where the judge is in on it. I mean, they're all in on it. The police, the judge, the lawyer.
How often do you have people freed, cases overturned? How often has that happened for you?
Now this was something that I was a part of. I didn't spearhead this. I was part of this movement. It was Destiny Turner, who was wrongfully convicted for 30 years. He's finally got parole, but that I remember when I first got involved that even though like the person who actually did it admitted to it, it still took 30 years. And I also advocated for another man to join others when it came to him, and he was I wouldn't say wrongfully incarcerated. He deserved a few years, but he definitely didn't deserve 100 years in prison. That was the original sentence. Fortunately, we were able to help him get parole after 20 years, which was still too much.
Yeah, and then once they do get parole, then what happens? I mean, they still have a record, right?
They still have a record, yeah. Now I was part of another one. Helped out with another case where he was man Marvin Haynes was exonerated. He doesn't have a record. You know, once you're exonerated, the record is gone. But when you get parole, unfortunately, yeah, there's still a record, and you still have to follow very. I mean, they watch you like a hawk, looking for a mistake.
So how is it that they're able to be paroled and not just exonerated if they're found to be innocent?
Getting parole is unfortunately getting a parole sentence reduction is the easier route for them to get home. Getting exonerated is
Mm.
much harder, and so
Oh, I see. So they take that route and be free rather than waiting for exoneration.
yeah, yeah, exoneration is less likely to happen.
Wow. That's sad too. I mean, I thought if you were found innocent, you were exonerated. Like that's the end of it. I didn't know that people were paroled after being found innocent.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought too. And I thought, with all the evidence you got, people admitting to it, the affidavits, I thought that mattered. No,
Well, the fact that you're found innocent, I thought that mattered. Like how do you even have a parole officer and have to answer to these things and have the record and have, no access to jobs and housing and it goes on and on.
and that's one of the many reasons, an endless amount of reasons, but just another reason to add to it. Looking at progressive candidates, and please ask them about this, how they feel about wrongful convictions. What do they want to do what can they do to help put an end to this? I've had conversations with candidates here in Alabama about this.
Are they compensated at all?
Oh, when they get released?
Yeah.
Uh, sometimes, not always.
And what does that look like?
Sometimes it varies.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll get a few $1,000s. Sometimes they'll get $2 million. Now, if you're paroled, and even when you're exonerated, you don't. Sometimes you still get nothing.
What about their families, and the psychological,
Oh gosh,
impact of being locked up for something you didn't do, and I mean, I can't imagine.
I can say Not from what I've seen, from what I've also read from people who have been exonerated, how much of a toll it takes on them both mentally and physically. Like with what I'm currently seeing, one of people that I've been advocating for 5 years now, Timothy McGruder, when his mom, they read out the guilty verdict not long after she had a heart attack and a stroke. She's still with us. It just hurts so bad. That's what happened. And she has a pacemaker today. Like, she's a strong woman. She, has faith that he will get out, but it's been very hard on her that her son is in prison for something that he did not do. And it's been hard on his son, Terrence, who is the one who reached out to me to begin with. He told me he wants nothing more than for his dad to get out of prison and for him to be able to give him a hug.
Now, how long has he been imprisoned?
30 years.
My gosh. Are you familiar with Juan Rouse by chance?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's running for Congress in Florida, and I interviewed him as well for the show, and he brought up Timothy McGruder.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, so I
That's
don't know if
wonderful.
I can give you his contact info if you'd like to get a hold of him and maybe, I
Oh,
don't know,
yes.
pass notes or something. But yeah, that's funny that that name came up because he just brought up that name as well.
Good for I love hearing that. Yes.
Yeah, there's some hope, right? There's some encouragement.
Yeah, because recently some people, and I've become friends with them, saw my video about Timothy, and they looked up his case and said, reached out to me and asked, "How can we help?" So yes, this right, all this is makes me feel so good.
Oh, good. We got some good news in this conversation. Now, what do you think about reforms as far as what reforms of the judicial system, if I could say it right? Well, I can't say it right because it's not right. But anyways,
Exactly.
would actually prevent these wrongful convictions.
So definitely we need first of all, there needs to be a board, an ethics board that oversees every trial, and we can absolutely have that happen when it comes to every trial, especially these capital murder trials. We absolutely need an ethics board that oversees what's happening. And I would sat there, it was a year ago, I saw one of my friends who was in jail for 7 years awaiting his trial, facing the death penalty for a murder he had nothing to do with. It was a quadruple murder he had nothing to do with. There and several different court dates. I didn't go to every one of them, but several different ones, and I sat there and watched, the prosecutors up there lying about him. I thank God he was found not guilty, but there needed to be an ethics board up there saying, "Oh," to begin with, saying, "Okay, this shouldn't be allowed." Put all the evidence in there, and then during trial, the stuff they do, like what I saw my friend go through with Timothy, when the prosecutor said at the end of trial, "Oh wait, everybody come back! Wait, we got somebody else that we're bringing up to the stand," even though the trial was everything was done. Trial was going to deliberate, and Jeff Paulson, the prosecutor, said, "Oh, never mind, come back." And a security guard to attack the character of Timothy's star witness for his alibi and lied about him, saying he was in a gang, held up a picture of him where he posed with some family members holding up a symbol that represented a hip hop group, saying, "Look, it's a gang symbol. He's in a gang." There should have been an ethics board right there going, "Okay, this has nothing to do with Timothy, and he's not on trial here." I mean, first of all, his lawyer should have done that, but an ethics board right there could put a stop to that. With the parole system is a joke. Parole system will deny people who are in their 70s, their 80s for parole. For petty crimes, there needs to be an ethics board to say, "This needs another look. This is cruel right here."
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel this is a subject, this is a, I mean, it's affecting people deeply. Is it under voiced?
Oh, very much so. Like, this is an epidemic. Like you said, it's underreported, and even though it goes on every day, people still don't talk about it enough. Politicians on the left and the right are in on it, especially the right, but still, Democrats don't have their hands clean, and that's where we also need to be honest with our politicians. And again, question them about how they feel, research the ones who are up for reelection because not only is this not being talked about, but when someone talks about someone else's favorite politician saying, "Hey, they're responsible for a wrongful conviction," people get angry. And look, this is reality. This is happening every day, and it very, very well could happen to your friend, to you, to someone you know. And the way we put a stop to it is we need to, I hate to say normalize it, but we do have to talk about it more. We need to face, again, reality. And by having more of these conversations, where they're not silenced listening to these stories, I do believe that is step number one to solving this.
Besides having the conversations and doing the research and things like that, what can people do to help this situation?
Well, that's a great question. So, absolutely, when it comes to petitions, please sign, share. When we see a video about someone who was wrongfully convicted, please, by all means, watch the video, like it, share it to different groups of yours. Please go to voicelessbehindbars.org because even if you can't donate, getting it out there.
So thank you so much for being here. I mean, I appreciate you telling your story and I appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I love being here, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that we need to know?
I'm on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, all under the same name. It's Sarah Only. That's all one word. Voiceless Behind Bars is my nonprofit. Voicelessbehindbars.org. It's also on Facebook. Also, when you just please, whenever you see spreading the word about someone who's wrongfully convicted, just takes a few minutes to sign that petition, share that video, and that goes a long way.
Word of mouth advertising. That's the way we only get things out that are being suppressed by our government, our media, and obviously there's a reason for that. So please like, share, sub. That's how we could keep getting the word out. And also, as always, be sure to join us next week right here on From Dirt We Grow for more of the unfiltered truth.